This is Gabriela on the scene today with Talk Network Radio. We have a real treat for you just around the corner, and that is Empowered Living with Jeff Byrd. Jeff is the owner of Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and he will be coming to you weekly to teach you more about empowered living. Now, let's join Jeff already in the studio.
Hello and welcome. This is Jeff Byrd with Empowered Living. And today, I'm so glad you tuned in this month of Thanksgiving, month of November, as we approach the topic, Soaring Through Gratitude. I think there are few things in life that can do as much for us and open as many doors as a grateful attitude, a grateful spirit, a grateful heart. Actually, the Apostle Paul in the New Testament wrote in one of his letters, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you." Now notice, he didn't say, "For everything give thanks." We're not grateful for war. We're not grateful for tragedies. We're not grateful for disease. But what he said is, in everything give thanks. Even in the midst of the difficulties and the challenges of life, to keep a mindset that looks at the things we have to be grateful for. On the spiritual level, he mentions everything God's done for us in Christ. On the spiritual level, on the mental level, the gifts and abilities he's given us. On the emotional level, the people who care for us, that we love, the things that bring joy to our hearts in life. And even on the physical level, those things we can do and the activities we can engage in that refresh us or bring value and bring joy to other people. Oprah Winfrey said, "Be thankful for what you have, you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough." Isn't that the truth? There's nobody at any state who couldn't, if they chose to, just think on what they don't have. Even a Bill Gates or someone like that could, if they chose to, it would seem foolish, but they could choose to think about what they want that they don't have. And they could make themselves miserable. Someone asked John D. Rockefeller one time, how much money does it take for a man to truly be happy? And Rockefeller responded, just a little more than what he's got. And if we think that way, we'll never be happy. If we're constantly looking at that little more that we want, we'll never really develop a grateful spirit. But the beautiful part is, like Oprah said, if we're thankful for what we have, we'll end up having more. So we're going to kind of break that down and look at some aspects of gratitude today that I'd like to share with you. The first thing about gratitude I want to look at is the power of gratitude. The power of gratitude. Gratitude is powerful. And I think really the main thing that strikes me as the power of gratitude is the power that gratitude has to touch a heart. To touch a heart. Now, this can be on the part of the person showing the gratitude or the part of the person receiving the gratitude. Now, if you knew my wife, Angie, some of you may, you would know that she loves to thank veterans for their service to our country. She goes out of her way. Sometimes I'll be pushing a grocery cart through a store, kind of looking around, just chatting to her, and I'll look and realize I'm just talking into thin air. She's gone. She saw a guy in a veteran's hat halfway back across the grocery store, and she's run across the store over there to thank them for their service to our country. And it's funny, we joke about it, but it's very meaningful in a way, and I'm glad that she has such a heart to see that value in other people and to go out of her way to show appreciation for what they've done. But one time, she saw an older man in a Vietnam veteran's hat. And with him was a little 5 or 6 year old grandchild. And she went up to them and she leaned over to the grandchild and she said, "Did you know that your granddaddy is a hero?" And he looked up at his grandpa and he said, "Really, Grandpa, you're a hero?" And when she looked up at the veteran, he had tears running down his face. And he said, "No one's ever said that to me before. No one's ever thanked me for what I did over there." And that just shows, after all those years, this was 40-some years since Vietnam, but yet, and he had never been thanked for what he did, for what he sacrificed, for what he was willing to sacrifice for the country. And just one random stranger coming up and thanking him was able to touch his heart in that way. Now, don't you think the rest of his day was a much better day? And don't you think also that my wife's day was a much better day? She told me that story, and I share that story often when I'm speaking to groups and engagements to show the power of appreciation and the power of gratitude. It touches both hearts, and it elevates both people. It brings a new sense of value. One of the main things it does is it brings a new sense of value. Don't you know that that veteran felt more valuable, more appreciated when he left the store that day after having heard that from my wife? That somebody just appreciated their efforts and his sense of self. It brings a new sense of self-worth. I'm sure that his sense of self-worth and value was enhanced, as was Angie's. When she went out of there, she's like, wow, I did a little something today that really impacted somebody else's life for the good and made them feel special. And that makes me feel special. Solomon wrote many, many years ago that he who refreshes another will himself be refreshed. And that's just so the truth. We cannot build up somebody else and refresh them without being refreshed ourselves. Number two, under the power of gratitude, is that gratitude has the power to create new connections. You know, if you're a grateful person, that makes other people want to connect with you. People want to feel appreciated. We feel so unappreciated so often for so many things. And when somebody comes along that has that kind of mindset and really appreciates them, that creates a desire for connections. And you never know where those connections are going to go. They could end up being some of the most beneficial connections you ever come across in your life. And gratitude opens doors like that. And then the third way that the power that gratitude has is it has the power to focus us off ourselves and elevate others in our eyes. When we take time to stop and to look around at what other people are doing, when we see what they're really doing, what they're really giving on a daily basis at their job, to their family, to their neighbors, to the world around them, and we stop and we think about that, it takes us out of an egocentric world for a minute and goes, oh my gosh, look at that person. Look at what they're doing. That's so cool. You know, I really appreciate them. So it takes our eyes off ourselves for a minute. We could all use a break from that, honestly. Even on our best of days with our best of intents, that's still often a struggle to get away from that kind of self-centered thing and to really look out and see others, see them for who they are, for what their intentions are, and the good that they want to do and are doing. Okay, next I want to talk about the purpose of gratitude. The purpose of gratitude, similarly to what I was just explaining, is that it allows us to see clearly the big picture and the role that others are playing and have played. It gives us a bigger view of life, a bigger picture view of life. We can get so busy navel-gazing and just focused on ourselves that we don't even see the beauty of the world around us and the people around us and the gifts that we've been given. Rochelle Goodrich said, gratitude doesn't change the scenery. It merely clean the glass you look through so you can clearly see the colors. Now, isn't that the truth? If we were looking through a dirty window out at a beautiful day, the scenery would be the same as if it was a clean glass, but we would get a very different impression of it, right? So gratitude cleans that glass so that we can look and clearly see the beauty of what's going on around us and the people around us. It opens our eyes to ask the question, hey, where would I be without the help of God and others, right? We tend to take for granted the things we have, and gratitude, stopping and looking around, shows us that big picture of, oh my gosh, look at what God and other people have done to help me get where I am. Where would I be without those people? Even people just doing what seem like menial tasks, where would we be without them? Where would we be without the guy that picks up the garbage every week, or delivers the mail, or serves us at the restaurant, or fills up the gas pumps with gas so that we can go get gas? There's people doing so many things around us all the time that create the life that we can so easily take for granted. And gratitude causes us to see the big picture of that. It reveals the beauty of what we already have all around us. Earlier this week, I was listening to a TED Talk, and there was a Benedictine monk on there, and he was talking about gratitude. And he said that when we stop and look around, often the first thing we do is just enjoy. Just take a breath and enjoy the things we've been given around us. It's fall here in the state of Virginia, and we're finally getting some trees turning color. It's been a very late fall here, but just stopping to look at the colors in the leaves and the colors in the sky and the beauty of the world around me. Since I heard that talk, I've been intentionally doing this more and just stopping and entering into a spirit of gratitude for all the beauty that's around me in the world. And gratitude will do that for us. It also creates confidence that more good will come. And we can so easily get focused on the worries of the day and of the moment that we forget all the good that's come to us throughout our lives. We forget all those things that we were worried were going to go poorly and that they worked out all right. We were okay. Provision came through. We were cared for. It's easy to forget that, but gratitude reminds us of those things, and then that gives us the assurance and the confidence that, hey, more good's going to come. Hey, it's going to work out all right. It's going to be okay. We need to know that. Gratitude creates an attitude that attracts more. It's been said that we don't attract what we want, we attract who we are. And gratitude will attract the right kind of people, the right kind of opportunities to us. Because, frankly, who wants to work with somebody and give opportunities to a negative person who's not grateful for anything and who thinks everybody owes them something? Nobody wants to work with that. You're never going to get a very good job that way. You're never going to get a very good promotion that way. But gratitude creates an attitude that attracts more. Grateful people are just charming. They're just magnetic. People want to be around them. And lastly, under the purpose of gratitude, number 5, gratitude creates appreciation of each moment that is given, which provide infinite opportunities. When it comes down to it, what are we really grateful for? The things that we're most grateful for that we all want are, after all, the moments of life that we're given. The moment that is given. Now, I used to work in hospice, and for a lot of the people who are near the end of life, what they very much want is another moment, another moment. When we're young and when we're healthy, we take those for granted. Oh, we got plenty of moments to come. Don't have to worry about that now. But each moment is a huge gift, a huge gift. We could never create this life that we have. We couldn't create our bodies to sustain it. We couldn't create our spirits. Each moment is a gift, but the real gift isn't the moment. The real gift is the opportunity that the moment contains. We can squander that moment. We can not appreciate it. We can go, wow, I have this moment to make a good decision, to do something that increases my own value or that builds up somebody else's value. I have this moment that I can do something good in, that I can change the course of somebody else's day, life, or even the future of the world. When one life is changed, the world is changed. Want to make a difference in the world? Do something that benefits one other person in a day. Okay, number 3. So we looked at the power of gratitude and the purpose of gratitude. Now I want to look at the process of gratitude. The process of gratitude. Now, the first thing in order to become grateful people, I've mentioned it a couple of times already, is we have to stop. We have to take a minute or a few minutes, preferably, out of the constant churn of what do I have to do next? What do I need to do next? What do I need to be doing? What's on the agenda? We have to take a moment and stop and open our eyes and our hearts to look around us, at the beauty that's around us, at the people that are around us, at those who have built and lived value into our lives. We have to stop to look outside of ourselves and our schedule and what we have to do next. If all we do is live every moment looking at what do I have to do in the next moment, we will never fully appreciate those moments that we've been given. Next thing that'll help us enormously is to keep a list. Make a list of all that's been given to us by God and others. The longer that list, the deeper our appreciation is going to be. The shallower that list, the shallower our appreciation. If you can only think of a couple of things, you're not going to have a lot of gratitude, a lot of appreciation. When you really start thinking into that and start populating that list, your sense of gratitude is going to skyrocket. And with that, all the good that comes from gratitude. Next, we need to, while we're stopped, is to appreciate where we are as a result and where we